a new drug today. It's a little bit of a new format. We're usually not here at this time on Thursday, but we are today. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon. Did the schedule mess you up? Did you get up in time?
Yes, yeah.
You barely made it.
I'm locked in.
I
was ready for this show.
All right, Frangie.
I'm not ready for most of them, but for whatever reason, I was ready.
Well, you had
for
more time.
Show. A little bit more time helps.
Frangie Carlyon LaSelva, glad you're with us. A lot to do on the program. Greg McGarity comes by in about 15 minutes to talk some college football. His schedule will change around a little bit. We got headlines coming up later on and a lot of fun stuff. But, JJ, today we're going to start the show a little bit differently. Fire it up.
Hey, let's go!
And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
All right, we're going to kick it off right out of the gate with our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. It is Kylie Johnson from Atlantic Coast. Hey, Kylie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good this day.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you in here. Kylie goes to Atlantic Coast, basketball player, flag football, bowling, pays all of them. Which one do you like the best?
The sport I like the best for sure is basketball.
And tell me why. Tell me all about your basketball.
I feel like the reason is because I've gone through so much adversity with that sport. It's been like a love-hate relationship, but towards the end, I definitely have started to love the sport.
All right, tell me about the adversity. Tell me about some of the challenges with it.
Before I've been known to like quit sports, but this sport I wanted to stick to it, get better, and I started to realize the more I played, the more I had more skill and I could go further in that sport.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Kylie, do you have a favorite game or performance that you can tell us about?
My favorite game, I would say, was whenever I first started playing. It was a very close game, and we ended up pulling through. It was when I was probably 12. It was a really fun game that day.
All right, so
Awesome.
what position do you play?
At that time, I was playing the 5 because I have been tall my whole life.
Right.
So I was about 5'6", about 5'7" in the 6th grade. So they had me as like the center.
All right, what do you play now?
Right now I play a shooting guard.
Okay.
So I'm one of the main ball handlers on our team, and I'm a guard.
All right, tell us a little bit about your basketball team. Season's coming up. Tell us a little bit about it.
I have very high hopes for this year. I feel like our team, we're growing together. We're gonna win a lot of games, I feel. And we just want to keep the AC legacy because we won districts last year and keep going.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of academic clubs, the National Art Honor Society, that's really cool. What are you an artist? What do you like to do?
Yes, I do draw in my free time. So I felt like it would be really cool for me to join some place where we could have a community of like artists, and it's not all about sports. It's about like hobbies we like, and we all draw. We will make certain stuff. It's a really fun club.
Kylie, you're involved in a lot. You're also a very good student. How do you manage all of it? How do you manage your time? What's your process?
I feel like over time, it's been easier to figure out the step-by-step to honestly handle both work and school and sports, all of that. I feel like it's just with time, I got better with my time management.
Very cool.
Do you know what you're doing in terms of college yet?
In terms of college, I'm not sure where I'm going to school yet, but what I'm planning to major in is business real estate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. So you want to be in the world of real estate?
Yes, I do.
That's very exciting. Why'd you pick that?
I really picked it because of what my dad does, and I saw that behind the scenes is something I feel like I would enjoy going on throughout life, really. So that's why it's really one of the main majors that intrigued my interest.
Well, very good, very good. Well, you'll be very good at it, I can tell you already. So Kylie Johnson is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. Fantastic student, fantastic basketball player, as well as flag football and bowling. And she's going to have a big basketball season this year at Atlantic Coast. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by. We sure appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Kylie Johnson is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week from Atlantic Coast, and she did a terrific job, and she will be fantastic at Atlantic Coast and beyond. So it's just great to have her in here. And thank you, by the way, to all you guys for your patience. We kind of moved the schedule around a little bit, but you guys were awesome. So we appreciate it very much. What a great way to kick off the program, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, Kylie is fantastic.
This has been such a great group.
It really has.
It always is, but
you know what?
This has been an A++.
Yes and yes. It's always good, but this group has been really good. I totally agree with you. So Kylie's going to be fantastic. She's from Atlantic Coast High School. All right, we moved the schedule around a little bit. Greg McGarity also very flexible with us. He's going to join us in about 15 minutes to talk about the Gator Bowl. I saw a lot of projections, but I just assumed when Florida got eligible, the Gator Bowl would do all could to get them. Florida would want to be here. But I'm going to ask Greg about this. I've seen about 4 or 5 projections Florida, maybe in the Gator Bowl, but there's a bunch of other places they may wind up. So I want to learn kind of the process on all of
Well, and again, there's a whole other side to it, which is what does the SEC and particularly the teams that finish ahead of Florida, what do they want? And none of them are going to say, we want to go to Birmingham, we want to go to Memphis for the Liberty Bowl, we want to go to play in the Music City Bowl. I mean, there's just not that many players around there.
Right.
And so everybody is going to write down Orlando, Tampa, and Jacksonville. And that's where I think it's a little bit of a fly in the ointment is as much I'd love to see the Gators in Jacksonville. That would be fantastic. But I just don't know. Now if Florida gets to 7, maybe it gets easier because they'd be one of the hottest teams in the SEC, coming off of wins over LSU, Ole Miss, and a rivalry road win at FSU. But so maybe if they win out, it makes more sense. But I just don't see how a 6-6 team is going to get priority over an 8-4, 9-3 team that's going to tell the league we want to be in Florida.
Is that really what you really believe is going to happen, or are you just trying to spoil my dream?
Spoiling your dream is a hobby of mine.
Yeah. But you're using all this damn logic and reality. That's not really what I was looking for here.
No, I get it. I saw somebody tweeted like 4 or 5 projections out, and only one of them had them here against SMU.
Yeah, I saw it too.
I don't think they'll be sent to Vegas because they were sent to Vegas like 2 years ago. And so I don't think it'll be Vegas, but I think they'll end up in Birmingham or Music City Bowl, something like that.
And Greg will be here to clear all that up for us. The executive director of the Gator Bowl, Greg would love to have the Gators. Many others would as well. Again, if they beat Ole Miss, I think that changes as well because then they're a 7-win. Assuming they beat at Florida State, I shouldn't assume it, but they could be a 7-win team. So we'll certainly talk about that. That's on the docket for today as well. The Jags, it looks like it's going to be status quo. At least like the Jags are going to keep the same leadership in place at least to the end of the regular season. I would guess, but no one said that. But my guess is if it was going to happen during the bye week, which is the phrase everybody used, it's not going to now. So we'll certainly talk about that, the significance of that coming up on the program today. JU, big win. Big. And I watched that thing. They were down 10. Now, JU just beat an ACC team. A week after UNF beat an ACC team. A few days after UNF beat an SEC team. Those two teams are good now. And I've watched them both. I watched that whole game last night, and JU's legit. UNF's legit. Boy, the ASUN's going to be fun.
It will be.
Because apparently Lipscomb's really good, and Austin P has another really good team.
Yeah,
so,
that league's gotten like 5 of these now.
Yeah.
Now, UNF and JU have combined for 3 of them.
That's right.
But they're not the only schools in that conference that have gone and won bye games.
Yeah, so we're going to certainly talk about that. But that was a good. JU's got length. They're athletic. They're as long and athletic and tough-nosed defensively, hard-nosed defensively as they've been. But they also can shoot it a little bit now.
Well, that was the thing. That's what you've been saying. And, they go on the road and shoot 51.7%. With Jordan Mincy and the way we know they coach defense and the toughness.
That's right.
If they can go on the road and shoot 51.7%, they're going to beat a lot of teams.
And they have a great player. If you have a great player in college basketball, Rob McRae's really good. Yeah. He's listed on draft boards.
I was really when I saw JU play Florida in the opener, I was really impressed. I mean, Florida obviously won, fairly comfortably.
But you could see it, couldn't you? I agree with that.
And I think Florida is very, maybe not elite, but I think Florida has a very good basketball team. So, getting a chance to see JU in person was cool, and you could see that they have the makings of a great squad.
I'm glad you said that. I forgot that Hays and his son went to that game, so you actually were there. You can see it, can't you? Mm-hmm. You if you watch them play, it's in there. You could, So, and I saw the same thing with UNF. I haven't seen either one of them in person yet, but it's in there with those two teams. So they're going to be fun to watch, no question about it. I want to talk about Prime today at some point. They're 8-2.
Huge commit today.
Just got the Julian Lewis, who one of the best players in the country, ranked number 2 overall, a 5-star quarterback, who will go in right after Shedeur Sanders and be the quarterback there. Would the Noles still take Prime if they could get him tomorrow? So we'll talk about that.
That's a great question.
We'll certainly get to that. I want to talk about that. I want to get to this, too, today if we get a chance. We got some Jags to talk about college football. Greg's going to be here to talk bowls in a bit. So we got a lot of stuff to try to squeeze in on a Thursday. But I got a long list today. So I'll try to get to this today. What's up? What's going to be up with Billy Donovan? Is he just going to finish? They're mediocre again. Now it's early, but they're 11th or 12th in the East right now. They're 6-10. And what got me thinking is I watched the game last night. The Bucks and the Bulls were on last night, so I got to watch. I was just watching part of it last night. He wasn't an abject failure as an NBA coach, but he never moved the needle. If we're being honest, both in Oklahoma City and Chicago. Does he come back to college? What's the Swans? Was he 59? I think so.
Sounds right.
So he's Billy the kid still isn't old. He's not. he's not as young as he once was. So, but I think it's an interesting topic. So we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on in the program. So we got a lot to do today. We'll talk some Jags, status quo. What does that mean? We'll certainly talk about the bowl situation with Greg McGarity. JU's win over Virginia Tech. What does that mean? I want to get to Prime a little bit later on because I will tell you, I thought Prime was just a circus act until this year. And I'm not saying the league's great, but 8-2 is 8-2. You know, they're going to play in that conference championship game, perhaps. They're going to have maybe the top 2 picks in the draft, perhaps, certainly 2 of the top picks. They may have the Heisman Trophy winner. And he just got a big-time recruit. That's a good resume. That's a good little run, for Colorado. So
the recruit that he just got was considering Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, and it decommitted, I believe, from USC.
Decommitted from USC.
So, I mean, anytime you're getting a flip from USC who also had visited Georgia after his decommitment.
That's correct.
You've got something special going.
So a lot of fun. So we got a lot of stuff today. Glad you're with us on a Thursday. Our Thursdays are always brought to you by our friends at Stanley Pools, the best pool company in town. I'll tell you this. We needed some pavers, some of our pavers around the pool. We're kind of coming up, and I called Greg Stanley and said, Greg, I'll be out there. In about 3 days, he had a crew of about 8, and our pavers look brand new. I mean, that's how good they are. They're a Jacksonville company. Service matters to them. They service our pool. Stanley Pools, you need to know that name since 1988. They've been the kings of pool work in town. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll kick this thing off with Greg McGarity. Our Gator Bowl College Football Report starts the program. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Living life on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me?
Your front row seat for play-by-play.
Break it free, they're not going to catch you.
1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Find your holiday season stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Gators are a 10-point underdog to Ole Miss in the Swamp. Second-ranked Ohio State, a 12-point home favorite over undefeated Indiana. In the NFL, the Packers are a 2-point favorite over the visiting 49ers. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Protecting your cards from moisture and sunlight is a big step in keeping their long-term value. At Showtime, we recently received a new shipment of Zion cases, a variety of sizes and colors to pick from. The Zion cases at Showtime, Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bold City AC. We got the crew. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1-mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Anderson was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors.
Leon Searcy here. Come watch the Miami Wake Forest game with me at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island. Kickoff is at noon, so come have lunch and watch the Canes with me. See you Saturday at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect.
When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it.
You make power plays.
Aim for fences. And go for end zones.
You believe that your moment is now. At Farrah and Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7.
If you've been injured, put our force to work for you. Jacksonville.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here from my friends at Beaches Dermatology. We all know summer's now gone, but that doesn't mean the sun goes away. It's Florida, right? That said, you still need to protect yourself from that bright sun. Golfing, fishing, weekends at your kids' game, or just taking care of the yard. Protect yourself and your skin. Beaches Dermatology and I want to remind you to wear your sunscreen. It's important. Holidays are also approaching, so take care of that spouse of yours with a gift from Beaches Dermatology. Call today or go online at beachesdermatology.com.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus, Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
Hey, it's Linda Beaver. Whether you're new to the area or a longtime resident, you deserve the best and shouldn't settle when buying or servicing your car. At Beaver Toyota, we have built our reputation on trust. You can trust us to provide you the best price, the best selection, and the best experience. You can trust me, your neighbors can trust me, your family can trust me. We will not let you down. Come see us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine to let our family take care of yours. Trust me, we're here to wow you.
1010XL is presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The College Football Report is presented each week by the Gator Bowl with Executive Director Greg McGarity. Here's Greg with the Frangie Show crew.
All right. We do welcome in Greg McGarity. Time changed a little bit. Greg, thanks for being flexible with us today.
My pleasure.
A lot of stuff going on out there. I'm not bearing the lead on this. The Gators are going to be 6-6. What are the chances you get them? I say that. They got to beat FSU. They could be 7-5 if they win both games, but there's certainly a chance now they're going to get bowl eligible. What are your chances of getting them?
They've got a shot. They're going to be, I think, 8 SEC teams. You got 4 up.
Right.
I think you'll have 8 bowl eligible and then 4 not eligible. But, there's 7 automatic kind of bids. You've got Orlando and then our group of 6. So one of those teams has to go to the Gasparilla or Birmingham. I don't think that's Florida.
Okay.
Because they were in Gasparilla 2 years ago. So I think they'll certainly be in the hunt because really the only 2
Where's
Eastern
Gasparilla Bowl?
Tampa.
So they have 2 bowls now.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That's UCF beat them in that bowl, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So they've been So they went there 2 years ago. They're not.
Yeah.
Where else are they?
They were just in Vegas.
They were in Vegas 3 years ago, 2 years ago in Gasparilla, and obviously nowhere last year.
Okay.
But South Carolina could be in play. Proximity is huge for us. And if Florida's there, I'm hoping that proximity would rule the day.
Yeah. So, and again, I get it. I get you don't want to upset any teams, but I've got to believe being 75 miles from the campus, and as hard as it is for bowls to sell tickets these days, and you guys do a fantastic job, by the way, but it is hard. It is hard. The world's changed. I've got to believe you would do everything possible to get them if you could get them.
Absolutely. I think because you've got South Carolina that could go to Nashville.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if they want to come back here.
Just here 2 years ago.
You got LSU and Missouri that probably want to stay out west.
Right.
At Las Vegas and Houston. A&M can't go to Houston,
Right.
so they got to feed in somewhere. But Tennessee probably could go to Tampa, and A&M could go to Orlando, and the Gators here, and Vandy to Memphis.
If you hear me close enough, Hayes, I'm already planning the tailgate.
Yeah,
Can you tell that? I'm ahead of this. Okay,
Let's get 6 wins first.
You got to get ahead of
six
this.
wins first.
Right.
It would be fantastic. And then on the ACC side, which you've always said is more prescriptive in terms of what actually will happen, so probably a little easier to predict. So assuming, let's just say Miami wins the ACC, so they only get one, probably, right? Up.
Right, and then Notre Dame, the independent. But
Oh,
still,
yeah.
Yep, one up.
So that would leave Clemson, SMU that you guys would be choosing between, or Clemson can't come?
Clemson can come, but I think they would be in that pool anyway. Clemson, you'd have SMU, then you'd have Duke, Pitt, Syracuse, maybe Louisville, maybe North Carolina. They'd have to have 8 wins in the ACC to make it to this premium pool. But Miami, if they lose, then obviously there'd be some dynamics there if they wanted to come here.
Right.
But there are a
lot
of things at play. But certainly we'd like for since the SEC is the home team, sure, you'd like to have Florida in the game.
Yeah, you obviously watch that very closely. Give me your board. Give me games this week. This way, and you got next week coming up. But give me this week what are we watching and why?
Well, I think there are 2 games that are really critical. Mississippi playing Florida because both teams have so much on the line. Right. I mean, this is Ole Miss's season.
Yeah, that's right.
They lose, they're done, and then they're in our pool.
Right.
Florida, if they win, then they're bowl eligible and a chance to win 7 games. I think that's a huge game. Alabama at Oklahoma. I don't think that Oklahoma can win that game. A&M's got to go to Auburn. Are they looking ahead to Texas? And then Vandy at LSU will really check the culture at LSU this week. So that's the SEC side. ACC side, you got a game tonight, Tech, NC State. That really doesn't affect us, but Pitt at Louisville, Duke hosts Virginia Tech, North Carolina's at BC, SMU's at Virginia. Can they continue? So a lot of things in play. And then Wake Forest at Miami. I don't think the Hurricanes will have much trouble there, but that's taking shape as well.
We always love getting your expertise from the athletic director's point of view. Do you have a thought on this Diego Pavia lawsuit where he's contending that junior college season should not count towards his eligibility?
Well, it always has, as far as the number of years you have eligibility. I just think that if the NCAA is athlete friendly, then they'll make things like that happen. I mean, so many times they've been against the athlete, but for the least commonsensical reasons. But I think they certainly should listen. Their problem is, does it open the door to others that would also, instead of one case, are there 1,000 other ones out there that are similar to that they would have to react to?
So let me ask you, big picture. Let's say he wins and precedent happens and it changes, and junior college football is then, and basketball, baseball, whatever, is then treated like prep school, and it does not affect your college eligibility. I would like that. Would you like that?
Well, nothing surprised. I mean, it's so topsy-turvy now that nothing surprises me. I would never say no.
Right.
Because of all the threat of litigation is why we're in the pickle we're in now, is the threat of litigation and moving forward. So if he has a case legally, then I think there's a chance things like that can happen. But nothing surprises me.
And I will tell you, junior colleges would love this. Because let me give you an example. And I want you guys both to tell me what you think. Let's say baseball player, okay? Baseball player's good player, but probably not good enough right now to go to Florida, Georgia, JU, wherever, okay? So goes to Rollins, okay? Goes to Rollins College, which is a good program. Always kind of wanted to go to Florida FSU, but goes to Rollins. Well, if this new rule passed for junior college didn't count against you, well, now you go to FSCJ for 2 years, And you still have those 4 years at Florida.
Yeah, and then you'd be talking about kids that are 24, 25 years old too.
And that's a little bit of the downside.
The churn there.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I would love to see it.
I would love to see it because I think it gives the late bloomer a chance to still have a really high level collegiate career.
Correct.
And I think a lot of those kids exist. You know, and because the way I look at it is if you're super talented, you're like in football. Like if you're super talented, you're 3 years and you're in the league anyway. So it doesn't really, and going against a 24, 25-year-old, if you're that elite, that's not going to bother you.
Yeah, you'd have to also, and I know academics is never brought up in anything with college athletics anymore, but academics at one time would have to kick in
right.
As far as transferable credits. How did they do at the junior college? What were their entrance board scores, things of that nature. So I think, academics, even though nobody brings it up anymore, you don't even call them student athletes anymore, just call them athletes.
But it still matters. You're right.
Yep.
All right, back to the Gator Bowl. You're 40 days from your game, give or take. What's going on now in your offices? What are you preparing? What are you working on? Where's your staff today?
Well, we're already, bowl manuals are just plug and play.
Okay.
So we're finalizing that. We already have had meetings with the ACC competing teams that are eligible.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, we had staff go up to Charlotte, and they do a great job of bringing all the schools in that are bowl eligible, and they spend 30 minutes with each bowl rep.
Oh, wow.
So we already know if School A comes in, we already know when they want to come in. The SEC has not done that. I'm sure we'll find out at some point in time, Matt, but ACC does a fantastic job in allowing us to kind of get ahead.
Yeah.
But it's mainly buckling down, making sure you've got all your details. Like we had a huge meeting with our hospitality crew. There's probably 30 people, making sure they have their assignments as far as where they're going. Are they with the team? Are they on game day? Team transportation. So you're meeting so that when you pull the trigger, all your meetings have been conducted, and all you're doing is plug and play.
That's really interesting. So the ACC brings you up there, and let's say Pitt, Louisville, SMU have all said, "Hey, Mr. McGarity, if we get in, we'd like to come in on this date.
Absolutely,
we'd like to stay." Oh, that's really cool.
And we're able to get with a hotel because some of the schools wanted to come in on the 28th.
Yeah,
where the contract calls the 29th, but then we can get with the Omni and say, "Look, can you hold some rooms back on the 28th?" And if we didn't know that, the Southeastern Conference team will not have that option because the Titans will be in town. They're staying out at Sawgrass.
Okay.
So they can't come in until they leave the property. So
that's really interesting stuff.
But teams wouldn't know that in the SEC because we don't have that luxury of meeting with all the potential bowl.
That's also
teams.
interesting about Sawgrass. Everybody likes to stay at Marriott Sawgrass. So the Titans game is the previous Sunday.
Correct.
So the team couldn't stay there until checking in Monday.
Probably, or come in Sunday night.
After
they turn the rooms because they'll be leaving, the hotel at 11.
And the game's Thursday.
They got time to turn it, but if they want to come in Saturday, no dice.
Yeah, interesting. That's really interesting stuff.
And remind us again, when is the game, kickoff time, and where can we get tickets?
7:30 on Thursday, January the 2nd. It's the only college football game around that day.
It's a great
on TV.
night.
So our ratings are going to be off the chart. We're going to have weather just like we have now. So, things are great. Just go to our website and just you can click on the ticket link there. But tickets are available. And oddly enough, I think we're having a better pre-sale than we've had in the past because we've had so many deals to get on board early.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. I half joked about it, but if you do the and I'm like you, Hays. I pulled up all the projections. Bill Benner of Sporting News has Florida, Texas Tech in the Birmingham Bowl. Brett McMurphy has Florida, Virginia Tech in the Gasparilla Bowl. Jerry Palm's got Florida, Arizona State in the Vegas Bowl. Athlon's has Florida, Nebraska in the Music City Bowl. I didn't pull up the other list, but one list finally had Florida, SMU.
I want no part of Nebraska in a bowl game.
Right, ever again. But the point is, logic tells me that if they lose to Ole Miss and beat Florida State, both of which I think are going to happen, a 6-6 Florida team, I think you would have a heck of a chance to get them.
I think so.
It just feels that way.
Yeah, because I think Arkansas or Vandy, one of those teams, hadn't been to Gasparilla and Las Vegas like Florida has.
Right.
And again, proximity. If you have somebody right on your doorstep, why send Florida to Memphis?
Yeah.
And then Missouri here or something like that. So hopefully proximity and common sense will kick in. But each school, Frank, the AD gets to pick their top 3 bowls where they'd like to participate.
I got it.
So who all is going to have the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl at the number 1 slot.
And they pick in order.
That's correct. Well, they mix and match because you got to avoid matchups.
Oh, I see.
That you had this year or that you have next year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. But the great news is Florida's on the doorstep of winning 6 games, which 2 or 3 weeks ago we didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's going to be remarkable to see. Do you get a sense, talking about Ole Miss at Florida, the pressure on Ole Miss is massive. I mean, this is a team built to win the national title this year. And not to say that he can't reload, but the perception is they're not going to be near what they are this year next year. This is the year.
Yeah. When you play roll your cards to the table and you've got transfers that are going to be there 1 year, you just got to reload. But they got a quarterback that's been there 3 years. They've got so much talent now that's in place. But
what kind of intangible is that for this game?
I just think that the Georgia game was huge for Ole Miss, but they were expected to win at home.
Right.
They were favored to win at home, even though they were a 3-point pick to lose.
But they were at home.
They were at home. Everything's moving in the right direction. They got, Georgia. They just dominated Georgia. Now, they had an off week to talk about that and talk about how great things were, and all of a sudden, they're coming into the swamp. And you got a team that's going to be motivated, and you've got a team that's going to be, if the crowd gets going and Florida is able to stay close and not let Ole Miss jump ahead significantly, I think you're going to see a phenomenal game because Florida's playing well. They're playing hard. Got a quarterback they believe in. Their defense has stepped it up. And so it's going to be a great challenge to see how everything matches up.
Georgia really flexed its muscles against Tennessee. Makes me think that Georgia's seated way too low in the playoff spot. I mean, what do you feel about that?
The dynamic there is Indiana, the unknown.
Yeah.
Penn State, the unknown, because they hadn't played any. It's not their fault, but the Big Ten is just pathetic this year down the line. I mean, you've got Michigan at 5. You don't have a lot of teams bowl eligible right now in the Big Ten. They're all 5-5 or muddling around there. So, I think if you put head to head some of these teams, that's where logic doesn't come into play because all of us watch football. Now, how would Penn State match up? I think if Georgia had to travel to Penn State, Alabama to Notre Dame, and those games to where they're playing Northern School, God knows if it works out that the matchups right now, you'd have some unbelievably cold weather games.
Hays, I think maybe you found it, Hays. Somebody said that if Georgia played at Penn State today, Georgia would be a 15-point road favorite.
That's what XL Primetime was saying.
They would be a 15-point road favorite if they played at Penn State.
As an 11.
Yeah, right. And by the way,
not as a 6, as an 11.
And by the way, I'd lay the 15 if I was a bettor.
I would too.
I would.
So you just, we'll see. But I just being a part of scheduling with Kirby back in the day, he was looking way ahead down the road as far as I want to be sure our strength of schedule is the best in the country. That's why he scheduled Clemson, Georgia Tech's a really, really good team this year. And then moving in the future, Georgia's going to play, I don't know about next year, but the years after that, they've got 2 tough non-conference games and Georgia Tech. One year, I think they play FSU and I forgot who the other team is.
Well, they were going to play Oklahoma, too. Yeah. And then the SEC
that's what he wanted to do because he knew with an 8-game SEC schedule, that if you lose, you could sustain a couple of losses as long as they were against great teams. And so I'm not really sure how that's panning out because you got a different 13 people in the room every year. Same thing with basketball.
Yeah.
What are they looking at? Strength of schedule, all this type stuff. So I think it leaves you kind of mind-boggling because you're trying to schedule ahead and the dynamics change as far as the criteria of what plays into it. It's not a perfect system. It's what we have, and, hell, we got to live with it.
Yeah, so exactly right. Greg McGarity, that is the Gatorville College Football Report. In the event that we get Florida in there, I want to reserve the one of those suites on the west side and send the invoice to Hays Carlyon. Okay. Just he'll cover the cash.
As long as there's a fresh DJ Lagway jersey in there, we'll be fine.
There you go. Greg, great work. Thanks, buddy.
Good deal. Thanks, guys.
Back in a moment, let's talk some Jaguar football and more, some NFL talk as well. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State, truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Septic emergencies stink. Get your ducks in a row, and that's where we come in. We are Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 septic company in the region.
When you're stuck, call the duck. DuckDuckRooter.com.
It's a game 80 years in the making. Join us for Thursday Night Football as we celebrate the 80th birthday of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game. The SEC and ACC face off January 2nd at 7:30 on Bill Gay grounds at Everbank Stadium. Don't miss college football pageantry on display as we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Tickets and hospitality packages are on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. Get yours today.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Mike Tousell in Jacksonville at 425-4100.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, in talking about the quality of cut of a diamond, is there a particular diamond cutter that's known as the best?
Frank, the answer is yes, and that would be Hearts on Fire, who have the world's most perfectly cut diamond, and we have them now at Underwoods. When anybody comes in and looks at one of these diamonds, the first thing they say is, "Wow!" That's because these diamonds are cut from absolute maximum beauty and are really worth seeing, so you have an idea of how good a diamond can really look. They have perfect polish, perfect symmetry, and perfect proportions, and are backed up with an American Gem Society diamond quality document. Now, not every diamond could be a Hearts on Fire diamond because only certain rough diamonds in the hands of the most skilled cutters working in state-of-the-art cutting facilities can cut these. In fact, only 200 diamond cutters out of the 1 million people employed in the diamond cutting trade are skilled enough to cut Hearts on Fire diamonds.
See Hearts on Fire now at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
This holiday season, let Bono's Catering do the cooking so you can enjoy more time with family and friends. Frank Frangie here. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for 75 years. Holiday catering is available with whole smoked turkeys, country hams, and all the fixings. Be sure to pre-order online at bonosbarbq.com or give us a call at 904-332-7427. Speaking of the holidays, Bono's signature rubs make the perfect gift for all barbecue lovers. Remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too. From Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Center Mitch Morse is looking forward to the bye week for a mental reset to see what the Jaguars are capable of when they return to the field next week against the Houston Texans.
You ask everyone around this building, this bye week has come with a purpose. There's some, not only just time away from the building, but self-reflection, getting your bodies back. I think the biggest thing is a mental and physical reset. And then we get to come out of this with 6 weeks of being able to just push and see what we can do. Put our foot in the gas. We have nothing to lose.
Like Morse said, they really have nothing to lose, so why not go out and try to create a spark that can carry over into next season, like growing the Lawrence to Thomas chemistry. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
They do such a good job, too. I just told you, they came out and redid our pavers, fixed them all up. Anytime there's something with our pool, they service our pool every week. They're the best pool builders and designers, too. Kim does all that design over there, and she designed our backyard and does a fantastic job. So always thanks to my friends at Stanley Pools, the best in the business, and have been for the longest time. Got a lot to talk about today on the program. We'll get to some college football, college basketball coming up. Let's do a quick thought about the Jags. So status quo for now. And I will say this. I think you made this point. This has nothing to do with what does or doesn't happen at the end of the year. But I'm not shocked at status quo now. I'm not. I think we get caught up in this. We did it with Florida earlier in the year. Well, they're struggling. They're 2-8. Then they go to Detroit and get just absolutely lambasted. And then everybody just got in, and there's a bye week. So everybody just got in their head there's a change. And then all the national media reports, the Ian Rappaport report certainly accelerated all that. But if you get away from just once the narrative is out there and everybody thinks the narrative, everyone follows the narrative. If you get away from that, I'm not surprised when a team, not just the Jaguars, Hays, when an owner, a school president, an AD, a GM, whoever's making the decision says, this doesn't change what I may or may not do, but I'm going to let it play out rather than be knee-jerk. I'm not overly shocked by it. I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I'm not overly shocked by it either. I mean, to me, the reason you go to an interim is when there's still hope in your season. That's why I wrote when they laid an egg in Buffalo on Monday Night Football and were 0-3, make the move then. Because then you might still catch fire with an interim and get back in this thing. It was clear to me at that point that there was no juice left in this coaching staff. They weren't reaching them. There was no edge. And, and unfortunately, that's how it played out. I was hoping I'd be wrong, but that's how it played out. And now here you are, and the season's over. And so now, I mean, to me now going to an interim, I certainly would have understood if Shad Khan was like, all right, I've seen enough, 52-6, you're out of here. But I really don't think there's an in-house option for Doug Peterson's successor on this staff. So that's another thing. Do I go to an interim because it gives me a look at somebody that I really might be interested in making the head coach? Well, there's no one here that would fit that. Heath Farwell is a very promising up-and-coming coach, the special teams coordinator, but you can't possibly hire him to be your head coach. There's just not enough resume there. Mike McCoy has been a head coach. It was a long time ago. It didn't go particularly well. So, I think there would be 50 candidates better. So there's really no in-house option like there was the year that they fired Gus Bradley and promoted Doug Marrone, and then the team responded to Marrone. People lose sight of the fact Marrone really wasn't a retread. He had coached the Bills, and when the Bills got sold and there was an ownership change, Marrone executed a clause in his contract that allowed him to get out of coaching the Bills. He wasn't fired, and he thought he was going to get the Jets job. It didn't work out, and so then his career kind of sputtered, and he got hired on here. But at the time, Doug Marrone, everyone thought Doug Marrone was going to get another chance to be an NFL head coach because he'd done pretty well in Buffalo and left of his own accord. And so you don't have that here. So there's really no reason to fire Peterson in hopes of a spark. So you'd be firing him basically, just because of pure, I'm fed up and I just want to see something new.
What about the GM? Same thinking?
I think so. I mean, look, really, to be honest, there's nothing Trent Baalke's going to do in the next 6 weeks anyway. I mean, we've passed the...
Not that'll affect this year's team.
Correct.
Right.
Well, you can't make any trades.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean...
But other than analyze players and where to send scouts and the like, he's not going to do anything that's going to affect the here and the now.
And so I think, honestly, if you were going to do one or the other, I probably would have done Baalke because the general manager across the league, this isn't a Jacksonville thing, but just across, this is the time of year where the general manager really isn't doing much. I mean, you might have an injury and have to go sign somebody off of a practice squad, but the odds that player is going to make a real impact on your 53, very minimal. Ethan Waugh could certainly be capable of doing that. So, and obviously we believe it's going to be a totally new vision of Jaguars football. So it really doesn't matter where Trent Baalke is sending scouts and things like that because you're going to have a new GM coming in.
Yeah.
And he probably will have to...
And that's the assumption for now, it'll be...
It's better. I mean, I'll say this. Yeah. Like, if Doug Peterson or Trent Baalke come back next season, I just don't see how they sell a ticket. I just think with where this fan base is, you cannot sell to this fan base. Trust us. Give us your cash. Trent Baalke knows what he's doing, or Doug Peterson is the right coach for this team. It is a dead message. It can't possibly be sold to this fan base. So, I mean, I just can't imagine Shad Khan saying, I can sell this product to my fans if Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson are still running the show.
So if you're correct, and it's going to be a total change at the end of the year, if you're right, and if there's no change now, which seems to be the case, then if all that is correct, then Shad Khan now has 6-7 more weeks to figure out the direction. See, that's the thing. If indeed there's going to be a change, we all have our opinions about it. I've said this from day one. I general manager, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe in my mind Doug Peterson's forgotten how to coach. That's just my opinion. I think that Super Bowl was real. I think those 2 winning seasons were real. So I think even if it doesn't happen here, I think he'll continue on coaching football in some capacity. Maybe a quarterback's coach, maybe a coordinator. I don't think Doug Peterson's football coaching career is over. I don't know that Trent will be a GM again or on a staff.
He will not be.
Yeah. So,
he will retire.
Yeah. So I don't. So, but nonetheless, as you move forward here, if that's the case, Shad Khan has time. In the meantime, and I think this is healthy, I do think now that no decision has been made, regardless of where anybody stood on whether or not you make a decision, okay, regardless of where people stand on where to make a decision, I do think the players no longer have the "oh my God, here it comes" on their head, on their minds. There's no way that Rappaport, and you and I had this talk, and we agreed on it, and I think most people agree. There's no way that Rappaport report did not affect their play Sunday. I don't think they'd have beaten the Lions anyway, but there's no way this team that has played everybody a fourth quarter game other than the Bills and at the end the Bears, this team that played the Lions, the Vikings, the Eagles, the Packers, that's 3 good teams. And those games came down to the very end of the game, including one with your backup quarterback who didn't play very well, and it still came down to the end of the game. All of a sudden, this team that's playing everybody a 5-point game that's decided in the last minute suddenly allows 645 yards and gets humiliated. On the day this report came out that everything's about to be blown up, which means, hey, players, you don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know where you're going to be living next year. Hey, coaches, you don't know if you're going to be on the staff. There's no chance it didn't have a major effect. Not just a report, but it had been simmering to the report until the report came out.
By one of the most famous national NFL reporters.
Who's
this wasn't some fringe guy. This is Ian Rappaport, who breaks news all the time.
Is right a lot.
It's Schefter, Rappaport, huge gap to everyone else.
100%. And so when that came out, obviously it had a major effect. Again, it's naive to suggest that didn't have a major effect. Of course it did. So now that's over. Whether there was a change now and whether there's not. And my thinking is Shad probably thought, look, what I do at the end of the year, I do at the end of the year. Do I really believe this team, these players, these fans are better served with Mike McCoy running things, who hasn't run things in 8 years, or with somebody else running things? Are these players and these fans really better served with that than with guys who are in the rhythm of doing it? And I think that's probably what he thought. You made the best point of all again today that I hadn't even thought about until you said it a week or two ago, but it was a really good point, and I wish I had said it. When you give an interim a job, it's because you're trying him out. If you're trying to see what you have there. And I never thought about that. I just thought you're just trying to keep the ship afloat to get to the other side. But you're right. It's a tryout, even if not for this team. You know, it's a tryout. How did you do when you had to run the show for a while? And which is a really good point. And if that is the point, the secondary point that you made, there isn't the way this staff is played out, there isn't someone that would factor in. Before the season, you might have thought it would be Ryan Nielsen, but it hasn't gone very well with Ryan Nielsen. If you were just keeping the ship afloat, it'd be Mike McCoy. But no disrespect, Mike's a good guy and a good quarterback coach, but nobody thinks Mike's going to be up for a head job again. You know, Heath Farwell, to your point, is a very well-regarded young special teams guy, but he's not, in this wave of coaches, he's not up for a job. You know, Rich Bisaccia, who took over as the interim with the Raiders, was up for some jobs, including this one. Yeah, he was very highly regarded when they interviewed. I'll say it again. If Doug Peterson didn't get that job, I think Rich Bisaccia had it. It was never Byron Leftwich. It was never some of these other names. I think Rich Bisaccia was the Jaguars coach if Doug Peterson didn't get the job. I heard that from a lot of people. I'm telling you, for people that would know. So there isn't that candidate here. So anyway, I think now hopefully everybody calms down, everybody relaxes. I do think Doug was right when he said everybody needed to get away for a while. They catch their breath and they play as good a football as they can play. We see where the season goes, and then at the end of the year, what winds up happening happens. It'll be fun to watch as the Jaguars move on after this week. When we come back, I got a thought or two about college football. I want to talk about Prime. I want to talk about Prime, and I want to talk about Prime and FSU. I got a real thought about that. I want to talk a little Florida Ole Miss. We got a lot to do in the next hour of the program. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, this is Russell Crowe, and you're listening to the best sports radio in the world, 1010XL Jacksonville Sports Radio.
1010XL, 92.5 FM. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
We could call them helmets and cleats, but they don't wear cleats.
Those shoes are hot.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
You think you could join us?
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both? With everyday deals at Sonny's. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Slow, and I want to talk to you today about having a grateful spirit. As we journey in life, it's so easy to take things for granted, but I want to encourage you to never get tired of thanking God for your blessings. Take time also to thank the people in your life who have and are helping you to become the person you are today. Don't go through life complaining, go through life praising.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Need extra cash for the holidays? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is always buying guns, musical instruments, surfboards, and tools, and pays cash money. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Georgia should be on cruise control this weekend, welcoming UMass to Athens. Georgia will use this week to sharpen up on some of their struggles they've been dealing with as they close in on the postseason. Two things the Dogs have struggled with this year, more than they have in their past during their run of dominance, is turnovers and stops on defense. Here's Coach Smart's outlook on those.
I look at it as a defensive coach when I watched our offensive tape and actually thought we had better ball security against Ole Miss than we did against Tennessee. We've had some bad exposures throughout the year, like when guys catch balls and the ball's loose. I'm honestly more focused on our defense why we don't get people with bad exposures.
It's 62 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
I saw it's going to be cool. I'm going to have to miss it because we got a walk-off thing, but the company party is going to be ice skating. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You an ice skater?
I am not.
Yeah.
So you will not be seeing any triple axles out of me.
JJ, can you ice skate?
I used to rollerblade.
Yeah.
So I've ice skated like twice in my life. It wasn't that dissimilar. So
Yeah.
I think I could probably do it.
Yeah, I tried one time in my life. One time ever. I was 15, JJ, and I couldn't do it. Back then, they didn't have rinks here, but they had the old Jacksonville Rockets used to play here. Before the Barons and the Lizard Kings, there were the Rockets, okay, when I was 15. And so they opened up the ice where the hockey team played and a bunch of, high schoolers, whatever, went, right? And I went. I was 15. I just couldn't stand up. I tried and tried and tried. And that wouldn't have been awful because it happens, except my girlfriend was so good at it, and I was so pissed. I was so pissed. So what I did is she was flying around like she was Peggy goddamn Fleming, okay? And I couldn't, I couldn't do it at all. So I did what you should do as a 15-year-old. JJ's what 15-year-olds do. I sat and pouted. Okay, it was a good pout. A good pout that everybody else is ice skating, you can't stand up, and your girlfriend's flying around. Okay, so I mean,
What about inline skating?
I've never tried it. I just know I tried this, and so all I know is this. My girlfriend's freaking Nancy Kerrigan, and I can't stand up, so I pouted, and then we left. I never tried it again. Mature, you think?
I think it is. I used to take.
Very mature. Was that a mature moment? I like pouted for 45 minutes. I said, we're getting out of here. But I
think you handled it well.
But I was 15, so I didn't have a driver's license yet. So I had to wait for one of the older couples to drive us. So I pouted until we got in the car.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good strategy. I would take Avery and Jackson probably 3 or 4 times before they redid it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
We did a show from there.
Right,
after
yeah.
they had
It is.
renovated
It's wonderful.
And they would always be like, Dad, don't you want to come out? Don't you want to come out? And I was like, no, I will watch from here.
I'm good.
And
I'm good.
I do not want to see my ankle turned 180 degrees today.
So you guys never went to the skating rink?
Yeah, no.
I don't like to skate. I went for like school functions and stuff like that.
At my
but
age,
I've never liked to roller skate, rollerblade,
Same
ice
here.
skate. I just don't like.
And
it.
when I was a kid, there was no inline skating. There were roller skates. Okay,
Yes.
they're roller
That's
skates.
what we had,
Yeah,
roller
Yeah, but at the rink,
we went a little bit,
and it was
but I was
awesome.
okay at that. I wasn't great at it.
Couple
but,
skates, you got your girlfriend out there.
Yeah, but again, the girlfriend I had was a really good roller skater, so I kind of knew what was going to happen. I knew she would be like the doggone Tanya Harding, and I'd be slipping around. So I knew it was happening, and I went anyway. But which preceded the pout.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was good. I'm just telling you, it was a good pout. It was. Why don't you try it? No, Frank, try one. No, just said no. And we left. Okay, it was great. It was a great pout. This is going to really surprise you. We had quite the argument then. I don't know. I don't know why that happened. If Prime was available, would FSU want? Now look, Mike Norvell's got another year, but the whole primed FSU thing looked great. Then when FSU's blowing everybody out last year and Colorado's not very good, we all kind of said, well, you know what? Good thing that didn't happen. Deion Sanders has that team 8-2. They're very good. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. His son. He just signed maybe the best quarterback recruit in the country just today, got a commitment from him and will sign. There's talk that he might go to the NFL. Prime says he's not going to the NFL. If FSU could snap their fingers and the world changed and all of a sudden there wasn't a big buyout and they could have Deion Sanders as their coach tomorrow, would they jump at it?
How could you not? I mean, and you're right. It has changed and flip-flopped. I've gone from advocating for Deion Sanders to saying, oh, wait, that was a huge
What a
mistake.
disaster that would have been.
And now you're back to saying, yeah, I mean, I think he would make sense. I mean, look, Florida State's been outscored 298 to 133 this season. So I don't know how anybody could say, no, we want to see more of Mike Norvell. I mean, it's unfortunate they signed him to this massive extension that they can't get out from under. But, yeah, I don't know how you could possibly say, I'd rather have Mike Norvell, who is who's gotten my school outscored by basically 170 points this season over a guy who's taken over a Colorado program that was doing nothing. I mean, they were awful before he got there. And he's shown he can deliver elite talent. Now, part of that was his son, but still, he gets Travis Hunter. The big one is this quarterback prospect, because it shows that he is putting roots down in Colorado. At least that's this very strong indication of it. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think it's only Deion Sanders. I mean, I think at this point, if you're Florida State, I mean, I think you turn over every stone. Looking for a coach, because I don't think Mike Norvell is turning this around. I think Jordan Travis was an unbelievable player, and I think he hid a lot of Norvell weaknesses. And then to Norvell's credit, he hit the portal very hard before it was the Vogue thing and got some outstanding players that are doing big things in the NFL. But, I mean, they're 1-9. I mean, if you had any semblance of coaching ability at all, with that schedule, they have not played a tough schedule. They're 1-9 playing a weak schedule. And so that tells me that obviously, like, he's not the answer. I mean, he got lucky with a run of a special quarterback and some good pieces around him. But I'd be shocked if Mike Norvell ever leads them into the playoff. I would be stunned, because I think this season has just shown that he's substandard for what FSU should really be after.
And I'm not there yet, but the luster has certainly come off. I don't also think he's a bad coach. I think it's hard to go 13-0 if you're a bad coach. But I think there's a lot of truth to what you said. Jordan Travis was magical.
Obviously the greatest college player of all time.
But I also look back, I thought, okay, that run of players they brought in, Keon Coleman, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Jaheim Bell, Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson. My goodness, that Fabian Lovett.
And that will never happen again.
Well, that's the thing. Not just for them.
For anyone.
I don't know that anyone's going to have a group of portal players that are all going to be good NFL players. It's incredible how many of them there were. I mean, if your two starting receivers are Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman, your tight ends Jaheim Bell, your running back's Trey Benson, your quarterback's Jordan Travis, those are all NFL starters at some point in their life. Your defensive line, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, that might be the two best rookie linemen in the league right now. So it's amazing how many of them, but it's just a bizarre year.
Jarian Jones here.
Jarian Jones is a terrific player. Yeah,
I'm excited to see what he can be.
Renardo Green was good. I mean, there's so many guys. So I got thinking about it, that how usually in college football, if you are 13-0 great, the next team's not going to be as good, but it's going to be 9-4, 9-3. It's going to be because your backups are good. If for no other reason, they practice against those great players every week, and they learned how those great players prepared every week, and they learn. There's a culture of winning, and they understand everything from what time you eat breakfast to how you stretch. And when Alabama goes 13-1 and wins a national championship, or 14-1. And the next year, they lose all their guys. Hays, they still go 10-3 the next year because those backups, who, A, by the way, were really good recruits too, and B, learned how to play and practice and develop from those older guys. That's the way it goes. And then once you get into that rhythm, now when you start firing coaches, and that can change, but it doesn't change overnight. It's still one of the most bizarre things in my lifetime, and you showed me numbers about how epic that fall off is. I think the only one that I saw in the last 15, 20 years was Southern Miss was 12-2 under Larry Fedora. And that was a team that he and Dan Dish and Blake Anderson, that group built together.
Yeah, ESPN did a massive research project on Florida State's winning percentage fall.
And they were 12-2 under Larry Fedora. And Larry got the North Carolina job. And that was when they got to 12-2 because they beat Case Keenum and Kevin Sumlin. And they had 2 pick sixes. Remember that? Again, they were at Houston. They were all the rage. They were the great group of 5 team, undefeated, and Southern Miss beat them. Fedora gets the North Carolina job. Ellis Johnson goes in there, and I want to say they were 1-10 the next year, 1-11 the next year, something like that. So they went from 12-2 to 1-11. That's in recent. Now there's some other 40s and 50s, but in recent memory,
and that can happen at a school like Southern Miss.
Correct. But in recent memory, and the coach left.
Right.
Yeah. So in recent memory, that's the only one that's even like it. And then this one, the coach didn't leave. So it's just bizarre. And here's the problem now. How do you fix it? You're losing all these recruits. So you're not going to be able to fix it with high school recruits. You're going to have to go back and get some 3-stars, replace the 4 and 5 stars you're losing. You got to go to the portal again. I mean, it certainly doesn't look like Luke Kromenhoek and Brock Glenn can lead an undermanned team. I mean, if Luke Kromenhoek was a junior and he stepped into a loaded team, then maybe he'd be fine. So it's hard now what an intriguing offseason it's going to be, because you got to load up on the portal guys. You got to go find the best offensive coordinator around. Is it the UNLV guy? That's what everyone talks about.
That seems to be the one their fans.
But you got to find a really good coordinator. You got to find some magic at quarterback. Now, look, there'll be a bunch of portal quarterbacks, but you got to do it again. And if you do it again with all portal guys, then what happens the next year? So again,
they're not going to be able to build a team next year with 15 portal guys, and not a good team.
Yeah,
because there's just too much competition. Ohio State is going to go get 3 or 4 elite guys. Alabama is going to get 2 or 3 elite guys. Georgia is going to get 2 or 3 elite guys. Clemson, we'll see. Maybe Clemson will stay out of the party. Florida is going to be able to go get probably 3 or 4 really impactful players.
And all those teams, Florida included, will be more attractive to FSU because of the chance of having a good year. The other thing is, do they bring in someone that can bring players with them? One thing that happened in Indiana, James Madison was really good last year. They got off to a 10-0 start, and when Cignetti got the job, he brought like 15 with him.
Yeah,
I mean Napier brought
2.
Osiris Torrance and Montrell Johnson.
Right.
Cignetti brought 15 guys, good players, and they're all good players at Indiana now. But FSU's got the same coach, so you can't go hire the guy at Coastal Carolina that's got 15 really good players or wherever. So.
And again, looking at the recruiting, this is just one list, but on 24/7 Sports, the team recruiting rankings, Florida State is 44th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's November 21st. These kids sign in
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're 44th?
Yeah.
And with the chance that some of these guys that you have right now, they've got 1 5-star and 7 4-stars. They've only got 12 commitments. So certainly as they fill up their class, they have the potential to greatly climb. But they also have the potential to lose 2 or 3 more that they've already been getting hammered.
Yeah.
And now they might lose more off of this group that right now is 44th.
Yeah, tough time for the Noles. It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, let's take a break. Hays has headlines on the other side. We'll continue along on a Thursday. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL is multimedia. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
You can't buy this kind of media exposure.
1010XL, maximum media exposure.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help. And I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Big Chief Tire offers affordable quality tires for every type of vehicle. Frank Frangie here. Whether you're looking for all-season tires, high-performance options, or something more budget-friendly, Big Chief has the perfect set to keep you rolling. Their expert technicians ensure your tires are installed quickly and safely so you can drive with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and check out their unbeatable tire deals today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
The inflation fighter is back and saving you thousands at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, just $500 down and $288 per month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla.
Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $500 down and $388 per month. You also get no payments till January 2025. It's all at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The Great American Race, where year after year, greatness is the destination.
Start your engines, let's go!
So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. The Daytona 500, February 16th, 2025. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Start your week with a Hall of Fame breakfast.
Wow, I'm hungry. How about you?
Join Dan Hicken, Jeff Prosser, and Jags Hall of Famer Tony Mazzelli for tons of football talk. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 on 1010XL.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
When it comes to selling your home, it can be stressful. Take the stress out with my friends, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. How's this for a guarantee? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. And if you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home. Take Kim in Palm Coast. I needed to move closer to family ASAP, but I had to sell my Palm Coast home first. I tried and failed with another agent. So my family said, you got to call Chad and Sandy. Well, sure enough, as promised, Chad and Sandy did it. They sold my home in 3 days. Above asking price. Call the local Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company is Fleming Island's first and only craft brewery, founded by the co-founder and brewmaster of Wicked Barley. Barley and Pie serves up local brews made right in your backyard. Hungry? Dive into their sourdough Neapolitan pizza, made fresh in-house every day. Find your new go-to spot in Fleming Island at Barley and Pie Brewing Company.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie. We've got JJ LaSelva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, obviously the cradle of college basketball is in Jacksonville. The JU Dolphins upset Virginia Tech 74-64 for their first win over a Power 4 team since beating Florida in 2010. The Dolphins started the second half with a 15-3 run to grab a 44-42 lead and cruise to a statement victory, shooting 51.7% from the field. What a win for the JU Dolphins.
And I watched the whole game, and they were down 10 at the half and being outplayed, missing shots. That second half started. Jordan Mincy went to a full court defense. I mean, long and active, and I mean they flipped the script in no time. They made some threes, which they have not done over the years, but they played defense. I'll tell you what now, they got 4 legitimate 6'9" or better post guys that could play. One of them, Zimmy, 6'8", 6'9", can really shoot it. The transfer from Dayton. They got a great player in Rob McCray, who he's the equivalent of the 4-minute offense in football. When they get a lead, we watched it in the tournament last year. They just put it in his hands, and he dribbles it around until the end of the shot clock and then goes to the basket and dishes or scores. So, again, we said it about UNF earlier a couple weeks ago when they won 2 of those. Now JU winning 1 of these. Those 2 teams are legit, man. I'm telling you, I watched that thing last night. I'm not saying Virginia Tech is going to be good in the ACC. That's not the point. The point is you went to a bye game, you made your $100,000, and you beat their ass. And that was an impressive win. And again, JU was dribbling it. It wasn't a winning at the last minute. They were dribbling the ball out at the end, and everybody quit playing. It was a great 10-point win for them. Outscored about 20 in the second half.
Absolutely. So JU beats Virginia Tech. As you mentioned, UNF already has wins over Georgia Tech and South Carolina. So when are the Rumbles, you ask? JU will host UNF on February 1st, while the Ospreys host the Dolphins on February 20th.
On the 20th, we will be there. Our show will be there. I can't wait. That's the one at UNF.
Yeah, because on the 1st is a Saturday.
Correct. The 20th will be a Friday. We'll be there. The first matchup, I'll also hopefully be there, but that'll be on a Saturday just to watch that. But I can't wait. And look, the league's good. Like you made a good point. The league already has some Power 4 wins. Austin Peay's good again. Lipscomb is the preseason favorite to win it. McCray, by the way, is the preseason player of the year in the A-Sun. So, and I'm telling you, that's a JU player. And UNF's got about 2 or 3 guys. The Litteris guy. I mean, they're good now. So I'm telling you, it's 2 good teams. Can't wait to watch them play each other.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be great. Let's get to the NFL. Week 12 starts tonight as the Steelers travel to face the Browns. Pittsburgh is 8-2, while the Browns are 2-8. It is a bad weather game tonight that we're expecting. So our first probably snow kind of game of the year. So the conditions won't be great. Should be a fantastic matchup. I think this one's closer than maybe people expect.
Well, it's going to be close because all the Steelers games are close.
Good point.
And so, and I don't know how they keep winning these games, but they'll win tonight because Boswell kicked 5 field goals and they'll win 15-11. But I'll say this: the Steelers are going to probably get to 9-2 tonight. And again, this is a team I always rooted for. Until I had the Jags games, I watched all their games and knew their personnel. I don't know the team as well as I once did because they're not kind of on my radar. But I watched them enough, like I do with the other teams. I don't know how they're going to be 9-2. It just doesn't seem like they're good enough to be 9-2. There's most teams that are 9-2. You can see why. I can see why the Bills. I can see why the Lions. I can't. God bless them for it, but I can't. It just doesn't show up.
Well, if this continues, Mike Tomlin's going to win Coach of the Year. I mean, going away.
I know.
I mean, because I'm with you. I don't think they have a great amount of talent, but boy, he just gets them to play together, and it's incredible. So it'll be fun watching Jameis Winston go up against the Steelers defense again, particularly if the conditions aren't great.
I'll say this: my friend Tony Baselli, who knows football as well as anybody I know. I mean, he's such a good football guy. He has always said this, and it's the oldest cliche in the world, but when you talk about the Steelers, it plays true. If you can win both lines of scrimmage, forget everything else. Quarterback, receivers, corners, cover corners, diva receiver, and great shutdown corners, and quarterbacks going to the Hall of Fame. That all stuff matters. But if you win both lines of scrimmage about every time you play, you got a great chance to win games, and that's what they are. Russ Wilson's okay. Justin Fields is okay. George Pickens is good. The rest of their guys are okay. But they win those lines of scrimmage, and I guess that's how you win games.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Let's get it to the NFL draft, as our team is currently sitting at the number 1 spot. ESPN's Matt Miller did a mock draft today. He had the Jaguars trading out of the number 1 spot, moving back to number 3 in a deal with the New York Giants that lands them Shedeur Sanders with the top pick. The Jaguars then select Texas left tackle Kelvin Banks with the 3rd overall selection. Miller does have Carson Beck in the first round. Remember, Dane Brugler didn't even have him in his top 50 in terms of overall prospects in this draft. But Matt Miller has Carson Beck going in the first round to actually what would be an ideal spot. I know it would be disappointing, but he has him going 18th, but to the Rams. So
right.
Getting to play with McVay would be fantastic, but obviously he was hoping to go number 1 overall.
I still think Carson Beck's a good player. I know he had some tough games, including the Florida game, the Texas game, but I still think he's a good player. I think he's athletic. He's got a big arm. He's a good kid. He's tough. I still think he's a good player. As for the top of the draft, it hurts all of us in the gut that the Jags are at the top of the draft again. But I will say this to Dane Brugler's mock, the Jags have to get physical. And I sure hope if they draft 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 4th, whenever, I hope they get a big physical lineman. And then when they get to the 2nd pick, I hope then after that, I hope they get a big physical lineman. And then when they get to their 3rd pick, after getting 2 big physical linemen, I hope they go get a big physical lineman. They have to start winning the lines of scrimmage. That's the one thing that's glaring, I think, about this team.
Totally agree. Let's get to Major League Baseball. Chris Sale wins the NL Cy Young for the Braves. JJ, what'd you think about that?
Fully deserved. I guess Wheeler had a great season, but nobody was really even close. I think Paul Skeens even finished in the top 3.
Yeah, he was a top 3 finalist. Yeah.
So, yeah, not a great season by the Braves, but I'll never forget this season for Chris Sale. I mean, think about the rotation the Braves had late 90s, early 2000s. They hadn't won a Cy Young since 1998.
Wow.
And it was Tom Glavine, so I didn't even realize it had been that long till yesterday.
I'll tell you this. Zach Wheeler's really good. Really good. And Paul Skeens had a fantastic rookie season. Chris Sale was as deserving a Cy Young guy as I remember in a long time. The vote shouldn't even been close. And the other 2 guys are good now. I mean, Zach Wheeler is a good pitcher and had a good year. And Skeens, one of the best rookies we've ever seen, but Sale was magnificent. Sale's had a great the comeback. He's a Gulf Coast guy. He's from Florida. The comeback he had was marvelous.
Braves gave up nothing for him, really.
I know it.
Grissom is not going to be a starter in the major league, so it is insane. Also, Skubal won in the American League 2 lefties this year.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
Me? I think Skubal's awesome. So I think it's sort of random, 2 lefties winning it, but Skubal's going to be here to stay. This won't be his last, probably.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a better pitcher than Garrett Cole. He's really good. I don't know that he's better than Garrett Cole, but I have no problem.
He had a better season.
He had a better season. I have no problem with him winning the Cy Young.
In 10 years, will this be known as the Paul Skeens Award?
Yes. I think you should start thinking, maybe start engraving it right now. See how does the P and the
By the way, we haven't talked about this. Have you seen, Frank, there's a baseball card. I guess it's his rookie card. It's like a 1 of 1. And the Pirates are willing to trade like 30 years of a seat behind home plate to get this card.
2 seats behind home plate.
Yeah, 2.
For 30 years to get the card. And they're putting in meet and greets with Skeens, meet and greets with Livy Dunn, which is why you need to really go try and find that card. Okay. And I have seen it. It's comical. Anytime Pittsburgh's in the news, anytime the Pirates are in the news, it's something stupid. Okay, it is. There's something, and this is it's wonderfully and pleasantly stupid, but stupid.
That's why I was like, I'll take the money. Yeah. I don't want to have to watch the Pirates for 30 years.
Hey, guess what? So would I.
Let's get to the NBA. Hubie Brown has announced that this will be his last season broadcasting games. The 91-year-old Brown has been a coach or broadcaster for 52 years. What a career in the game.
And you know something? Let me say this. I love Lee Corso. Once he got ill, he wasn't the same guy, and I love that he still tries it. He can do it as long as he wants, as far as I'm concerned. Big Vitale had the throat stuff and had to step down, and I love Vitale. But both of them, because of age and illness, lost a little bit of the fastball. And that's not their fault. I love both guys. Hubie Brown hasn't lost a step. He is. If you
agree.
He has not lost a step, man. He is fantastic. I hate to see him step down. He's only 91. I hate to see him step away. I love Hubie.
It's amazing. And we were talking about Bob Uecker when the Brewers, had their great run towards the end, and it's amazing.
And he hasn't lost a step.
Yeah, the longevity of these guys. But yeah, Hubie Brown will be certainly missed. So we will enjoy him in this final season of his broadcasting career. Let's get it to pop culture. because on this date, back in 1976,
wow,
Rocky was released.
How about that?
It was premiered in New York City. This was still about 2 weeks away from the wide release, but today does mark the official release date for Rocky. Opened up in New York City on this day back in 1976. One of the most surprising movie success stories in Hollywood history. Rocky was made for $1.1 million and grossed $225 million. The film was nominated for 10 Academy Awards and won 3, including Best Picture.
It's the most iconic sports movie ever.
Yep.
Best sports movie ever is
the montage. He's hitting the bag right now.
Yeah. Best movie
He's about
ever.
to be in the meat locker soon.
Best sports movie ever is subjective. Most iconic sports movie ever is not. It's the most ever. With the music, the acting, the storyline, all of it.
What's your favorite Rocky?
Ooh, good question.
No, my favorite Rocky is Rocky. Mm-hmm. People can make the argument that Rocky 2 was the best movie of the group. I think most people would tell you Rocky 2 was the best movie.
That's my favorite.
But what's your favorite?
My favorite's Rocky 2.
Mine's Rocky. And I love Rocky 2.
Yeah.
And again, most people would argue that Rocky 2 was the best movie of the group. Rocky's my favorite.
Yeah, and I love them. I pretty much love them all. I mean, particularly when you're talking about early. Rocky 3 is great. But obviously,
Rocky 4?
Rocky 4 is great.
Yeah.
Love Rocky 4.
But yeah, I think for me, they're all fantastic.
Rocky 2 is critically acclaimed one of the best sequel ever.
Yeah.
But Rocky for me.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. Thank you to Frank Frangie for this one. Flashback, because 48 years ago today, Paul Simon hosted Saturday Night Live and was the musical guest, so pulling double duty that night, Paul Simon, but got a nice assist from George Harrison. Here they are performing Here Comes the Sun. Harrison then helped Simon out on Homeward Bound that night. Simon then performed solo Bridge Over Troubled Water and Something So Right. You can watch this episode on Peacock, and I would encourage you to do so.
This moment with George Harrison, who wrote Here Comes the Sun, singing it with Paul Simon was freaking magnificent, which is why I watched it 12 times before I sent it to you this morning. But what a moment in music history, these two absolute Goliaths, and Simon and Garfunkel and the Beatles, two groups that were Goliaths, coming together. This was a magical moment in music. It really was.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you ever want to win a trivia contest, this might help you. George Harrison, he was the first Beatle to ever appear on Saturday Night Live.
I did not know
So if you're ever, because this happened 48 years ago, 1976. So if you're ever asked, if you're ever in a trivia game, who was the first Beatle to appear on Saturday Night Live? George Harrison.
And I will tell you, this song is on Abbey Road, which might be the greatest album of the rock era. It just might be. And there's some great albums, but it might be the greatest album of the rock era. It is really that good. Well done.
Thank you.
One segment to go. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Colorado Buffaloes two-way star Travis Hunter is now minus 400 to win this year's Heisman Trophy. Boise State running back Ashton Genty, who leads the nation in rushing, is at plus 375. Cameron Ward, the quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes, is plus 1,200. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback of the number one ranked Oregon Ducks, is plus 2,500. Jalen Milroe, quarterback of Alabama, also plus 2,500 to win this year's Heisman Trophy. Ohio State is the betting favorite to win the national championship. The Buckeyes are plus 300. Oregon plus 450. Georgia and Texas, the top two teams in the SEC, are both at plus 500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
If you have a slow draining sink or toilet that sounds like it's about to back up, imagine the potential plumbing emergency when you have family over for the holidays. Flush after flush after flush. Avoid holiday clogs with a call to Duck Duck Rooter today. Duck Duck Rooter will come and resolve those plumbing issues so you can enjoy a free-flowing holiday season. Call 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hey, it's Linda Beaver. Whether you're new to the area or a longtime resident, you deserve the best and shouldn't settle when buying or servicing your car. At Beaver Toyota, we have built our reputation on trust. You can trust us to provide you the best price, the best selection, and the best experience. You can trust me, your neighbors can trust me, your family can trust me. We will not let you down. Come see us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine to let our family take care of yours. Trust me, we're here to wow you.
It's Thanksgiving week, and Monahan Jewelers has the best deals in town with up to 40% off the entire store. Thousands of beautiful pieces are all on sale with fantastic prices on our entire inventory, including up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds. We're your local family jeweler, so come visit us today and on Small Business Saturday for up to 40% off on diamond studs, engagement rings, colored gemstones, our designer brands, custom design, everything. The name you can trust in fine jewelry, Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. November is Veterans Month, and Awaken 180 is honoring all active duty veterans and spouses with 15% off our entire program, plus the same free support for life all clients receive. Celebrate Veterans Month with 50% off at awaken180weightloss.com.
A different path means a new hope for Miami football this season.
Find out what you need to know about the Canes on the Performance Painting Hurricane Report.
Keep an eye on the Canes as they strike back on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that's got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Step up, use our promo code 1010XL, and that'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's risk-free Thursdays, so why wait? There's a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click on the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now. Get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
I'm living proof that with Rebound Rehab, you can bounce back and get back in the game. Joe C. for Rebound Rehabilitation, and they helped me recover from an ankle injury that had me down and out. Their team of physical therapists ensure you'll get the best treatment you need to recover and regain mobility. From back, shoulder, and neck pain to a nagging knee or arthritis, Rebound Rehab can help form a game plan through therapy and exercise, complete with an app so you can continue to recover at home. Check out reboundrehab.com. 8 convenient locations.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I just cannot say enough good things about my friends at Pella Windows and Doors. They have the highest quality products, the strongest limited warranties in the industry, and they just flat out look amazing. But don't just take my word for it. Consumer Reports still has Pella rated #1 in all 3 major window categories, so why not go with the best? Call them today or visit the Pella showroom, and be sure to ask about the latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows. That's Pella Windows and Doors on Phillips Highway, and tell them Mike sent you.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Stud rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. spoke about one of the veterans he's looked to as a rookie, being Gabe Davis. Here's Thomas after hearing the news of Davis's torn meniscus and how Davis impacted his first season in the league.
I'm just praying for him, praying that he gets. I mean, yeah, he was one of the veterans that I looked up to. Him and Kirk when I first came in, they took me in and just taught me a lot of stuff. I'm missing for sure. Yeah, I mean, he fought through a lot of injuries this season. I mean, it just shows how much he's willing to give for his team and how much of a team player he is. He's fighting and battling each and every week through injuries. Yeah, he's just a great team player.
I'm Max Finke with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the Sky Life Elite Take Flight Moment of the Week. Sky Life Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Poteet, the board, and intercepted. McCray, the preseason A-Sun Player of the Year. An emphatic slam.
He's spectacular athletically.
What a win for JU. That was Robert McCray. JJ, who was that? ESPN Plus?
Correct.
Yes, ESPN Plus. Great job there. And what a win for JU. Again, it's just not every day this happens. They hadn't beaten a Power 4 team since 2010. That's 14 years. Incredible job by Jordan Mincy and his guys. So the perfect take flight moment of the week, a bonus one this week. But McCray's steal and dunk, an awesome one. And again, call our friends at Sky Life Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. You don't have to worry about canceled flights, unruly passengers, layovers. Give them a call at 490-9332. You can also go to flyskylife.com.
Yeah, if you want to get to a trip, charter's the way to go, and Skylife does it right, and you can afford it. That's the thing. You get a bunch of people together, and you can afford it, and people say, well, you can afford it. Well, if it's just you and your wife, it's going to be hard to afford. I mean, I'll be honest. But you get 6 or 8 guys going on a golf trip. You get four couples going to see the Jags play. It's real affordable, and it's the way to go. Skylife Elite. Give them a call. You'll be glad you did. And again, congrats again to Jordan Mincy and the JU basketball team.
Yeah, you mentioned that Zemi Wokeji, the Dayton transfer, 19 points off the bench and hit 4 huge threes.
Huge threes. And the one out of the corner late was the big one, but he can really shoot it now. Yeah. He's a big that can shoot. He's good because Bo Beach was so good. But his playing style reminds you of Bo Beach, who played at UNF. Remember, Bo was 6'8", 6'9", and played like a guard and could just drill those threes. Wokeji's playing style is similar to his, and it's a
and Robert McCray had 17. Yeah, just a great night.
And how many assists did he have? McCray took over. He had like 8 or 9 assists.
Yeah, 8 or 9 assists.
He took over the game, so it was a great win for them. So, by the way, progress and breakthrough in America. You're going to listen to Abbey Road in its entirety the next couple nights.
Yeah, so I've started doing this thing when it's not like an NFL night, and through Spotify, who our good friend Lauren Brooks, was raving about for so many years, and finally convinced me to join.
Same.
And it's been so awesome. So what I've started doing is, again, if it's a night where I'm not really watching football, there's really not much else that I've been watching. Gene and I aren't really involved in any shows right now. We're sort of caught up on all of ours. And so I've been just sort of listening to music and just listening to full albums. Like I listened to Dark Side of the Moon the other night. And it's just been kind of a fun new thing. Like, because to be honest, a lot of it I've never heard start to finish. I've heard songs off of the albums, but maybe haven't heard the album all the way through. And again, with Spotify, it's easy. I just type in Abbey Road. There it is. And so it won't be tonight because I've got the kids tonight. But whenever I sit down to do it, again, Abbey Road is next on the list.
You and JJ, your favorite Beatles album's Revolver, you said.
It is. I don't know if that's considered like one of their top ones that everybody loves, but to me it absolutely is. Rubber Soul's on there too. I definitely agree with you about Abbey Road, but just not my favorite.
Yeah, it's unique, by the way.
And I love the White Album. That's super weird one.
Right,
you know, there's like it's like 30 songs or something like that. It was 2 sides, and yeah, there's a lot of weirdness in that one too. Like the later Beatles got really different from early Beatles. That's what I love about them.
Yeah, and the White Album's got, it's got Back in USSR and Obladi. It's got, but it's unique in its
Rocky Raccoon.
Yeah. Revolver does not have as many songs as you would know. You probably has Eleanor Rigby, I think, but it doesn't have names. It doesn't have, like Sgt. Pepper has, you know every song.
Yeah.
If you know music, you'll know every song on Sgt. Pepper, which I love, by the way. But Abbey Road is unique. I mean, it's got Here Comes the Sun and Something and Come Together. There's a lot of songs you know, but it's also got a fun silliness to it. And so yeah, it's a great album. So I could talk Beatles albums forever. So they are magnificent. All right, almost out of time today on the program. Tomorrow we'll do our picks. We'll have Pete Prisco stop by as he always does tomorrow. No Doug Peterson, obviously, because they're off, but Doug will be back on the program with us next week as we get closer and closer to football weekend.
I feel like I got smoked on picks.
Yeah. No, you did fine.
Okay.
You did fine. Yeah, I think we all did around the same, I think.
I was going to say, I think we all had a game picker-upper.
Yeah, we all had a game picker-upper.
That almost never happens.
I think we were all like 1 point apart in the picks.
That's what I don't have
better
that.
than I thought.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The points discrepancy didn't shift a ton.
Yeah, it's very close. I will. Maybe I am, and I'm usually can get glasses half full, glasses half empty with games. And we'll talk more about this extensively tomorrow because it'll be the game we all watch the closest this weekend. I don't think Ole Miss is going to roll Florida. I will pick them to win, but there are so many variables in that game. I think Florida's playing with very little pressure. They're now going to, if they can beat FSU, which they should, FSU is really struggling, they're now going to be in a bowl. This game will not significantly change the bowl they are in. I think last week was the exhale game. They had to prove they could win a game like that. And he's got them playing like their hair's on fire. And I just think that, listen, they can't do something stupid. Jim Dike can't drop a punt at the 10-yard line. Lagway cannot throw a pick like he did against Tennessee at the -20.
Your long snapper can't roll one back 30 yards.
Yeah, you
like he did against Georgia.
Yeah, you can't have that. Florida's got to play a very clean game. But I think that when they are right in that thing, if I lost my mind, I don't see Ole Miss coming in there and rolling. And I think Ole Miss is good. The way the teams match up, I don't see Ole Miss rolling them. I thought before the Georgia game, and I told you this, I thought by the time that thing got to the fourth quarter, it would be 38-17. I was wrong. It was a good game. I mean, it wound up being 2 touchdowns, but it was a close game. It was tied with 5 minutes left. So I was wrong about that. I think last week I thought LSU would win, but I thought it would go down to the wire. I think this is a tough, physical, kind of low-scoring, last possession kind of game that either team can win. Am I way off the mark? Am I too happy Gator right now?
I don't think so. I mean, I worry about Lane Kiffin having the extra week to prepare because I do think he's going to be able to. I don't think Florida's doing anything overly sophisticated on defense. It's probably a big reason why they're playing better. But the converse of that is you give somebody like Lane Kiffin an extra week to self-scout and also then to really script what he wants to do against you. And my fear is it's going to be Texas Part 2 where Ole Miss scores touchdowns on their first 3 drives because he has just schemed up some great stuff that Florida hasn't seen and Florida, can't anticipate. And so that's a concern. But I mean, there's certainly things about the game that I like for Florida. I like the fact that all the pressure's on Ole Miss because they're a program that's not used to having it. And this is a head coach that's not used to having it. I mean, this is a big legacy game for Lane Kiffin. I mean, somebody who I think we all know would ideally like to coach somewhere else at some point beyond Oxford, whether that's Florida, whether that's Ohio State, whatever the next big job is that opens. And so, look, if you're Lane Kiffin, if you lose this game, it's going to derail a lot of the positive momentum that you've built. And he's done some incredible stuff at Ole Miss. And losing Saturday doesn't change that, but it does severely limit the ceiling of what it can be. Because I don't think there'll be as talented ever again as this Ole Miss team is. And so, that pressure that is going to be on Lane Kiffin does that translate to his team? The team, I'm sure, feels it as well. I mean, if they legitimately still have that goalpost up in the middle of their quad, like the Ole Miss reporter told us a few days ago.
Square, yeah.
If they still have that, that's a problem. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, they get wins like that. The goalpost isn't still in the students area a week and a half later. So that's the kind of stuff that I think there's so much pressure on Ole Miss. How can they perform? And I don't know that Ole Miss has a great offensive line. So Florida's defensive front is playing a lot better. They'll have a chip on their shoulder because all they're going to hear all week is how Ole Miss is full of All-Americans and first-round picks on their defensive line. And so that's going to be a natural motivator. It's senior day. Florida doesn't have very many, but that's still obviously when it's your last game at home for the season. And for some of these guys, the last home game of their career, that certainly matters. I think Ole Miss still gets it done because I think Lane Kiffin is I just think he's got a better team. I think he's a better coach. So I respect the job Billy Napier has done in keeping this thing together. I would take Florida in the 10, but I would be surprised if Florida wins the game.
Me too, but not shocked.
Not shocked.
I think this. Florida's been a team in recent years that if they play a good team, if Florida plays the better game, fewer turnovers, the other team's a little sloppy, the good team beats Florida by 10. And if the good team plays the better game than Florida, they beat them by 20 or 30. Georgia, 10, whoever. I now think this game, the team that plays the cleaner game is going to win the game. That's the point. If both team, if neither team turns it over, or if the turnover margin is 0, I think Ole Miss wins the game by 7 or 8 points. If Florida wins the turnover battle by 2, I think Florida's going to beat them. I guess that's the point. If everything's even, nobody does anything dumb, nobody makes any catastrophic mistakes, Ole Miss will beat Florida 31-23. Okay? 31-21, 31-24, somewhere thereabouts. But if Florida plays the cleaner game, if the crowd, you make a good point. Noon crowds are not as good as 3:30 crowds, which are not as good as 7 o'clock crowds. But it's still a home crowd. And I think it's a home crowd that's got a little juice because finally their team's giving them something to get excited about. It's 7 days away, 7 days removed from the biggest win in Napier's era.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
A big thing with that, too, if I was Billy Napier and I won the toss, I would take the ball because it's not going to be very loud at kickoff. The students are not going to be there for the most part. They'll get there, but they're not going to get there until like 12:30, 1 o'clock. So if you're Billy Napier, take the ball if you win the toss because if you put Ole Miss out there offensively, they're going to get comfortable, and the crowd is not going to be nearly what it will be when you open the second half. And now you're talking about 2 o'clock, and the students are there. So that's something, again, that Billy Napier might want to consider. The other thing, too, Frank, is let's just go through Ole Miss's schedule. Tell me what Florida's record would be. Home against Furman. Home against Middle Tennessee State.
Win.
At Wake Forest.
Win.
Home against Georgia Southern.
Win.
Home against Kentucky.
Well, they beat them.
So
at home.
That's 5-0.
Yeah.
At South Carolina.
Might have lost. I'll go
toss
lost.
up.
I'll go lost.
Okay, just
I'll go lost.
5-1.
Yep.
At LSU.
Just beat them at home.
Beat them at home.
So that's a toss up at best. But even if you go lost, 5-2.
Home against Oklahoma.
Win 6-2.
At Arkansas.
I think that's win 7-2.
Home against Georgia.
Loss 7-3. And that's where we are.
Yeah.
So Florida would be 7-3. And Ole Miss is 8-2. Almost out of time. Where have we been today, JJ?
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, we started our show with Kylie Johnson, a terrific Duval County Scholar athlete from Atlantic Coast. Greg McGarity stopped by right afterwards to talk all about the Gators in the Gator Bowl and who else might be there. And we talked an awful lot of Jaguars today and college football, the FSU situation, and Florida Ole Miss. That has been our program, and it has been a fun one. Thank you for being part of it. We appreciate it a great deal. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 4 o'clock. Pete Prisco stops by, and we'll talk NFL and a whole lot more. We'll have our picks as well. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie.